It's not a genocide is not a defensible claim in the year 2025. Notes from the edge of the narrative matrix. The International Association of Genocide Scholars, IAGS, has determined that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. This is the world's largest association of genocide scholars, with around 500 experts on the subject, including many Holocaust scholars. The consensus was reached by an overwhelming supermajority of the experts, 86% to be exact. Everyone needs to understand that there is no genocide in Gaza is not a claim that can be taken seriously in the year 2025. Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, UN human rights experts, Israeli human rights group like B'Tselem, and the overwhelming majority of genocide scholars all agree it's a genocide. The debate is over. The hasbarists lost. Israel's foreign minister is, of course, claiming that the IAGS statement is entirely based on Hamas's campaign of lies. That's right, folks. The genocide scholars are Hamas. They're just so unbelievably evil. Nobody who's not a cartoon or CGI supervillain has any business being this evil. If you're going to be this insanely evil, you should be animated and cackling while twisting your curly mustache all the time. Possibly the single dumbest thing we are asked to believe about Palestine is that every major human rights institution on earth is part of a secret anti-Semitic blood libel conspiracy. This genocide is one nonstop insult to our intelligence. Israel is reportedly planning to cut off the small amount of aid it has been allowing into northern Gaza. This comes after both UN-backed and US-funded hunger monitor groups determined that Israel is causing a famine in Gaza, which was preceded by weeks of Israel furiously denying that it was starving Gaza, which was preceded by Israeli officials openly announcing that they intended to starve Gaza. Tweet by Caitlin. Israel, we're going to starve Gaza. The West. Israel is starving Gaza. Israel. It is anti-Semitic to say we are starving Gaza. The West. Okay, sorry. Israel. We're going to starve Gaza some more. The Western press have been dutifully parroting the U.S. and Israeli government line that Trump's plan for the ethnic cleansing of Gaza will be voluntary in their headlines. Gaza post-war plan envisions voluntary relocation of entire population, reads a headline from the Washington Post. U.S.-run Gaza Riviera post-war redevelopment plan sees voluntary relocation of millions, says CNBC. Trump's Gaza plan involves voluntary relocation of Palestinians and giving them $5,000 each, says The Independent. Gaza post-war plan proposes voluntary relocation and tokens in exchange for land, says France 24. We're going to be hearing this voluntary relocation slogan a lot going forward, and everyone should understand that it's a lie. There is nothing voluntary about leaving an area that is being deliberately made uninhabitable by someone with power over you. It's exactly the same as forcing people out at gunpoint. It is propaganda and journalistic malpractice for the Western media to be pushing this slogan. I saw a tweet from liberal influencer Stephen Bonnell, aka Destiny, saying, "Palestine is just fashion for leftists." Bidenists say this all the time, and it reveals so much about their worldview. They cannot fathom the concept of someone opposing a genocide because genocide is bad. It can only be some kind of trendy fashion statement because it happens to be what's popular right now. These are people who are not motivated by morality, facts, and logic, but solely by selfish and cynical impulses, which they then project onto everyone else. They can't imagine anyone doing something because it's the right thing to do, so they have to make up some reason why there must be something in it for them in order for their actions to make sense. But it is good that even through their own narcissistic, egocentric lens, they are beginning to understand that supporting an active genocide has widely become viewed as unacceptable, and that abandoning that insane position is the only way to gain acceptance in mainstream society. Those who can't be brought into line through appeal to compassion and reason can be brought into line through peer pressure and social stigma. When you see the way pro-genocide Jews attack vocally anti-genocide Jews, you understand why there aren't more vocally anti-genocide Jews. This isn't to excuse anyone from their moral obligation to oppose an act of genocide, only to point out one of the control mechanisms. I've watched Zionists constantly try to convince Israeli-American academic Shael Ben Ephraim to start drinking again after he switched from defending the genocide to opposing it. He's open about being a recovering alcoholic. I catch flack from Israel supporters 24/7, but I've never had to deal with that level of vitriolic, high-octane hatred. Non-Jews like myself who oppose the Gaza Holocaust just don't have to deal with that degree of venom. And that's just what's visible to me online. Again, this doesn't excuse the moral obligation that Jews and non-Jews alike have to oppose Israel's genocidal atrocities. I'm just pointing out one of the many abusive dynamics used to maintain the status quo.